One. We're going to replace the seals in the RRV pump today. I'll use a pneumatic wrench to take the head bolts out, and that is it. I will not use any other pneumatic tools to perform any functions on this. Everything needs to be finished by hand. Now there's several different ways that you can get the heads off of the pumps. If the pump's mounted firmly down, a lot of times you can take and just simply pull the head off. If you can't, if it seems to be stuck or a bad position where you can't really get your hands on it, you can always use a hammer to slightly tap it to where it will break free. At that point in time, you can do two things. You can continue tapping and supporting the pump. You have to be careful so you don't break the ceramic plungers. Or as soon as you get a gap open in that area, you can use two screwdrivers to come in, one high, one low, and pull the pump head away. Once that's broken far enough away, you can finish the job by pulling this off by hand. I'm only going to do one cylinder today. The other two will be completed the same way. This is a rear piston guide. Here's the 3 cylinders. First step is to remove this. It can be done in 2 different fashions. One, you can use a reversible pliers. Simply go in and grab the area like this, twist, and remove the guide. The other way that you can do it, and you need to be very careful when you do it, is to use a pair of channel lock pliers to where you can grab the edge, and again, you want to twist side to side to break the O-ring free, and you can work this by twisting and pulling up. Once you have the rear piston guide off, you've got 2 parts in there. You have an O-ring and you have your low pressure seal. The next item down can be removed by hand. This is your front piston guide. If for any reason that would be stuck, you could also use this reversible pliers. The next item down in here is the backup ring, the support ring for the high pressure seal, and the high pressure seal is directly below that. A lot of times you can go in and just pull the whole assembly out by hand with your finger, and that would also give you the bottom support ring. So you have a support top ring, you have a support bottom ring, and you have your high pressure seal. Those are the components that you would be removing. At this point in time, what else would be changed would be this O-ring. Every time it's taken out, you can simply use a mechanic's pick to go underneath and peel it off. And you're going to want to remove your low pressure seal. Now, your low pressure seal on this area here has a Teflon backup ring as well as your low pressure seal. You can get underneath the Teflon backup ring and very carefully just push the low pressure seal away and it will come straight out. This is the Teflon backup ring. It acts as a scraper. That is your seal configuration for this particular pump. In your rebuild kit, all these parts will be new, they'll be clean. You want to make sure that this area inside the cylinder area is clean, free of any debris. Most of the times you can just wipe it out. If you have to use a little bit of degreaser, that'll be fine. The first item to go in, back in when you rebuild, is the head ring. It has a flat side and a tapered side. The tapered side points toward you, the flat side goes down. Simply just lays down inside. The next item in will be the high pressure seal. New high pressure seals are going to be a little bit larger in diameter, so you're going to have to compress them into the head. What you need to do is to lay the seal in at an angle, a very steep angle. Take your finger and hold it into place, and take your other finger and work that seal around, either clockwise or counterclockwise, until it seats all the way to the bottom. Once that's completely seated, the next piece that will go in is going to be your support ring, backup ring, and that part will simply lay down inside. Make sure that all these parts are square when you're going in. Now, your brass for your guides will be reused, and what you want to do is to clean it, and then you want to look for a wear point. You'll find a wear point up and down on the plunger. The way it was running will wear top and bottom. If you simply turn it 90 degrees, you have two brand new surfaces that the plunger can ride against and stay aligned on. So you'll want to put those in so that the plunger is going to ride on the even, nice clean surface. And again, that'll be this way. Building your rear piston guide with your low pressure seal. Again, you're going to want to clean your brass off. You're going to take your low pressure seal, your new one, and your scraper ring, and assemble those two together. To install this seal into this guide, you're going to have the brown scraper ring pointing up toward you. This is going to be going toward your water end of the pump. This is the seal seat area. You're going to simply set it over the top and push it down. Then you can pick it up and finish pushing it into place with your fingers. The reason you're doing that instead of turning it over is if that ring would fall out of position, you could damage it, and then you're going to have a leaking issue. Your new O-ring will simply go back into place around the rear retainer. You'll set that into place evenly, and with your two fingers push it into place until it seats just slightly above the face of the pump. We generally replace these parts with no lubrication, but if you want to put a lubrication on there, use some pump oil. Do not use grease. You can use a little pump oil down inside to lubricate the seal, and you can put a little grease on the plungers. Now, a lot of pumps you'll pull apart and you're going to see some colors on there. These are solid ceramic plungers, and the reason for this color that's on there, it's a testing dye for quality control to make sure that the plungers are coming out and meeting specifications. They're checked for any impurities, any cracks, that type of thing, and so that's what that dye is for. When you go to put your head back on, you need to go on very squarely onto your head and work it back into position by hand. With new seals, it's going to be tight, so you might have to push a little bit this way. You want to make sure that you keep everything nice and square. And putting your bolts back in, you want to make sure that these conical washers are on the bolts. They're anti-vibration washers. You always start with one of the 4 center bolts and tightening down the head and work your way out to the outside. That way, if something is not square, there's a very small risk of breaking a plunger. Bring these in snug by hand. And then you're going to crisscross. Once you have everything snug, you can get your torque wrench, 217 inch-pounds, 6mm socket. Again, start in the center, bring them up evenly snug until you start taking torque. The seals have just been replaced in the RRV pump.